Hello. We just started digging in. Just for some reason we weren't able to break through the Entente lines. Thought they were extremely weak like they told me before joining the army. But who cares, we'll probably still win before Christmas after all. The first mission I was tasked with was a small skirmishing operation that I would conduct with a friend. This turned out to immediately injure me, though thankfully after the Frenchman died I was able to apply a dressing and continue moving forward. The plan was rather simple. We'd break through any defenders that were on the relatively undefended left side, and then sneak into the enemy trenches, killing everyone inside, allowing for a mass charge to occur with relatively low casualties. The plan wasn't exactly very sound, and in fact it actually failed, as you can see. So we'd have to do things the good old-fashioned way. Charge straight through the trenches to get to the enemy trenches. Apparently one of our genius engineers managed to somehow connect both our trenches and the enemy trenches through a trench. I have no idea how they managed to do this without getting shot by one of our officers or one of the Entente, but I'm sure that it was probably for the best. The charge had failed and I was the last soldier alive, but this really didn't matter, as I'd still managed to kill a few of the Entente. And after all, the officers always knew what to do next. This time we'd charge in the middle of the day through some of the enemy defenses. They were actually lightly manned since the enemy was a bit too busy trying to retake the town we had recently captured, so taking those defenses were rather easy, though we were pushed back almost instantly. After a lucky British assaultman managed to sneak up behind me, we once again had to charge, though this time it was our own defenses, since the enemy had just managed to overrun them. We didn't exactly have the best defenses, as our engineers were a bit too busy trying to dig tunnels, fortify backline trenches. I'm not exactly sure, as I've never seen one ever since the beginning of the war, but this wouldn't matter, as I'm sure that we'd be able to retake our defenses in no time. Turns out their entire army was charging at our hill, and they'd successfully had taken it. The only time we'd managed to actually have a chance at retaking it was when visibility was rather low for their machine gunners, and one of us managed to get a lucky hit on one of them. So we started a night attack on our previous trench, and hopefully we were going to be able to take it back. Ah yes, the sound of all of my fellow companions dying. Once again leaving me alone in this operation. Well, this would be rather difficult as it was every time. But I'm sure that this time would be the exception and that I actually wouldn't die. After a while, I'd enter into a melee and get shot. Though this wasn't exactly too detrimental to the effort, as we did retake our defenses. But the enemy was fast approaching. We had to either start an offensive or start defending properly. Our officers chose to start another offensive. Of course, I wouldn't participate in the offensive just yet, as I just died once more. But I did eventually manage to break through the enemy lines, and got myself into a melee after missing a shot. I was actually outnumbered, so after I saw 3 enemy troops, I decided to just throw a grenade and start running. This actually managed to work rather well, and I killed 3 of them. Luckily, I wasn't immediately shot after killing those 3 people. As a matter of fact, I was confident that I wouldn't be shot yet, but I didn't know if that was true. Well, turns out that it wasn't true. Well, after 2 years, I have to say that none of our offensives managed to work, and finally our officers seemed to have gotten some sense into them, and the defensive had been enacted. We'd no longer have to charge the enemy fruitlessly, but now we'd have to meet them at our trenches. Or hopefully not.